Test, test. Hello.
The unconscious mind is amazing. It can process vast
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Medical Board of California's quarterly board meeting day 2. While this meeting is being conducted with participating board members and staff at the meeting location, the meeting is being streamed interactively using WebEx to allow for remote public comment through the same manner as recent meetings. Public comments from those who wish to speak will be heard for each agenda item from individuals attending in person and remotely. To be ready for remote public comment, we ask that you please ensure your comments can be heard clearly by being connected to the audio of this meeting through the proper method. If you're having difficulty hearing the audio of this meeting, it could be because the device you're connecting with has bandwidth limitations. If you do have difficulty hearing the audio of this meeting using your device, please click the ellipsis button at the bottom of the WebEx application or the audio and video menu item at the top of the WebEx application and then select Switch Audio. You'll see an option to call in and will be provided with a telephone number, access code, and attendee ID that can be used to connect to the meeting audio via phone. Using the information provided, it will automatically disconnect your device's audio and connect your phone to the name you joined the meeting with. By using this method, if you're having audio problems with your device, this will still allow you to participate and hear the audio of the board meeting. Please see the View Additional Meeting Information link on the first page of the meeting agenda for more information on connecting to the meeting and accessing meeting materials. Thank you, President Lawson. You can now start the meeting.
Thank you, Sean. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to ask all members of the board to please turn our mobile devices or any computers to silent to minimize interruptions. For members of the public, you may notice that board members are accessing their laptops, phones, or other devices during the meeting. They're using these devices to access board meeting materials that are in electronic format. If you are a member of the media and you require assistance or information, please see Ali Shembra in the back. Ali's raising her hand. This is an official business meeting of the Medical Board of California, and disruptions of the board's business will not be tolerated. Government Code Section 11126.5 allows the board to remove people who willfully interrupt a meeting and to clear the room if order cannot be restored by removing or muting the disruptive people. The board welcomes public comments on any item on the agenda today, and it is the board's intent to ask for public comments prior to the board taking action on any agenda item. If for some reason I forget to ask for public comment on an agenda item and you wish to speak on that item, please raise your hand or come forward and you will be recognized. As Sean mentioned, this meeting is also being streamed via WebEx. Individuals attending the meeting remotely via WebEx will also have an opportunity to provide public comment and will be assisted by the host who will be facilitating the WebEx meeting. During each agenda item, the host moderating this WebEx event will activate the hand raising and the Q&A features of WebEx and will ask anyone wishing to make a public comment to indicate so by raising their hand or entering yes in the Q&A window. The host will then call on individuals who indicated they wish to make public comments by the name provided by the individual, which may be a pseudonym. When called upon, the host will unmute the microphone of the individual and they will have 3 minutes to make their public comment, but this time period may be reduced depending on the number of people who wish to speak so that more people may be heard. The host will audibly announce when 30 seconds remain to conclude the public comment. After the individual's time for public comment has lapsed, the individual will be placed back on mute, and only one public comment per agenda item is allowed per attendee. I'd like to remind all speakers to please stay on topic and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Today's meeting will be run according to the Open Meeting Act as required by law, and we plan to end today by at least 4 p.m., hopefully sooner. It is 9:03 a.m. I would like to call the meeting to order. Mr. Nadar, if you would please call the roll.
Mr. Arkutov,
I'm here.
Dr. Ayla Rodriguez,
Not here yet. He'll be arriving 10 minutes late.
Ms. Chung,
I'm here.
Ms. Holmes,
Here.
Dr. Mahmood. Mr. Portillo, Dr. Solis,
Here.
Dr. Tarp,
Here.
Dr. Tolbert,
Here.
Ms. Torres, present, Dr. Sai,
Here.
Mr. Watkins, Dr. Yep,
Here.
Ms. Lawson.
Here. Thank you. A quorum is present. I would like to remind the members again that we will be taking a roll call vote on all action items. We are going to move on to agenda item 10, which is the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion and Accessibility Supplement Strategic Planning Session. I would like to welcome Tricia St. Clair and Sarah Arani from the Department of Consumer Affairs Solid Planning Team. And consistent with the governor's executive order N-16-22, they will be assisting the board in updating its strategic plan to incorporate diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility into the items that are still pending completion. We will not be revisiting items that have already been completed. An update on the full strategic plan will be provided at the February board meeting. Ms. St. Clair and Ms. Zerani, welcome. I will turn it over to both of you.
Thank you so much. And just a moment as I work to share my screen. It comes later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the video's partway there. All right, so technology. All right, so again, welcome and good morning to the Medical Board's DIA Strategic Supplement Planning Session. My name is Tricia St. Clair. I'm a strategic business analyst and facilitator with Solid Planning, and my co-facilitator is.
Hi, I'm Sari Rani. I am also a strategic business analyst and facilitator with Solid.
So we are a neutral party. We don't represent licensees. We don't represent NBC. We're here to provide structure to your process. Part of that structure is documentation. So we'll check for understanding if any suggestions or edits are made. And don't worry about grammar or spelling. We'll clean that up later. So we're going to keep this as brief as possible. And to help us do that, if you can minimize distractions, and mainly by that, we mean silence cell phones and keep sidebar conversations to a minimum. We hope everyone feels comfortable participating. And if we come to a point where we're deciding on something and you're not really crazy about it, just ask yourself if at the end of the day, you can live with it. So this agenda looks intimidating. It really will go fast, I promise. We're going to start with an overview of DEIA, and then we'll review quickly the purpose of strategic planning, the DEIA supplement process, review the DEIA supplement environmental scan, review and possibly revise mission, vision, and values, and review and possibly revise staff-edited strategic objectives. So we're going to jump right into diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, which we'll just call DIA for short. DCA is committed to DIA. Back in September of 2022, the governor passed Executive Order N1622, requiring state agencies and organizations to include and embed DIA in their processes and procedures. In response to this, the Department of Consumer Affairs formed its own DEIA steering committee. They have their own mission statement, and that is to create a California Department of Consumer Affairs for all. And then Solid Planning that we are with has embedded DEIA into our strategic planning process by including feedback from diverse stakeholders, so not only licensees, but people applying to be licensees, people in similar fields, professional organizations, government agencies, consumers. We've included DEIA questions in our surveys and interviews. During the strategic planning process, we seek feedback from the public, and then we encourage participants to think of DEIA as their forming objectives. So just to make sure we're all on the same page, we'll start with some definitions just to define the acronym. So diversity, the inherent and acquired qualities, characteristics, and experiences that make us unique as individuals and the groups to which we belong. And then equity creates paths to equal outcomes by recognizing that some people and communities have unequal starting points driven by different histories, historical treatment, circumstances, strengths, and needs. Inclusion, a practice to maintain a positive environment where all individuals feel recognized, understood, and valued. And finally, accessibility, designing systems, environments, and experiences so that people of all abilities can access and engage with them, including people with disabilities. So sometimes you'll hear people use equality and equity interchangeably, and they're actually quite different, as this illustration as this picture illustrates. So with equality, everyone is given the same size podium regardless of their needs. With equity, people's needs are considered, and if someone doesn't need a podium, they're not given one. And then the people who are given podiums are given one that fits their size. So equality, we provide the same equal treatment, and equity, we provide equal pathways to equal outcomes. So if you're making a suggestion today, you can ask yourself if the suggestion is using a one-size-fits-all approach. And if it is, just think how you can incorporate DEIA. So now is the video that Sean is going to play for us. It's something that can get in the way of implementing DIA's unconscious bias. And it's not a bad thing, it's just how our brains work. And what we can do is just be aware of it, and by being aware of it, we can manage it. And so that's what this video covers.
The unconscious mind is amazing. It can process vastly more information than our conscious mind by using shortcuts based on our background, cultural environment, and personal experiences to make almost instantaneous decisions about everything around us. The snag is, it's wrong quite a lot of the time, especially on matters that need rational thinking. Here's a classic example. A bat and a ball cost £1 10 pence. If the bat costs £1 more than the ball, how much does the ball cost? Most people, including over 50% of students at some of the world's leading universities, get the answer wrong and say 10 pence. The answer is actually 5 pence. Many of us choose 10 pence without thinking. This is because our unconscious mind uses instinct, not analysis. So our unconscious is fallible. It's also biased. It makes snap judgments of people we meet, categorizing them according to gender, social and other characteristics. In milliseconds, we judge whether somebody is like us and belongs to our in-group. These are the people we favor. So men might favor men, while women might favor women. However, we can belong to different in-groups, and we like to be part of an in-group that's powerful, which could mean a woman favoring a man over a woman. That's unconscious bias. All of us have it, and it colors our decisions without our realizing. For example, research reveals that if I were a man, you would be more likely to be nodding in agreement right now because people pay more attention to a male voice. The Royal Society fosters excellence in science, but this can only be achieved if we select from the widest range of talent. And that's not possible if unconscious bias is narrowing down the field for non-scientific reasons. To lessen the impact of unconscious bias, which is easier for us to notice in others, we are raising the awareness of unconscious bias to members of our selection and appointment panels. We're encouraging panel members to deliberately slow down decision-making, reconsider reasons for decisions, question cultural stereotypes, and monitor each other for unconscious bias. We can't cure unconscious bias, but with self-awareness, we can address it.
All right, and then we'll do a quick changing of presenter roles. Thank you. All right. All right, so can any of you name one way to slow down unconscious bias from that video? They sneak it in at the very end. That's okay, we created a slide summarizing them. So one way is just to slow down decision-making, just reconsider reasons behind decisions being made, question cultural stereotypes, and then monitor each other for unconscious bias. So when we analyze the responses to the DIA questions, what we find sometimes is that there's pushback. And we believe that pushback comes from a place of either misunderstanding or misinformation. So we like to take a moment to dispel a few myths surrounding DEIA. The first myth is that DIA is only about race and gender, and it excludes certain people, specifically white men. All of us are made of about 20 different social identities that make up who we are, such as where we were born, what language we speak, what we like to do for fun. And DEIA is about embracing all of those differences. The second myth is that DIA is a zero-sum divisive game to create winners and losers. Thinking that someone has to lose for someone to gain is based on a scarcity mindset. And DEIA is based on a growth mindset. And when it's implemented authentically, studies show that profits increase, innovation increases, and companies thrive. Then the last myth is that DIA means recruiting unqualified people. And this is based on an unfortunate trend of people being forced to make tokenized recruitment decisions just for the sake of optics. And that creates a lose-lose situation for all. True DIA means just casting a wider net to include people that may not have applied for a particular position or license. It's a myth that lack of representation in a role means that there aren't any qualified skilled candidates. And then the facts show that the benefits of DIA are tremendous when you implement it in the business world, and we have just a few of them here. So when employees believe their organization is committed to diversity and they feel included, innovation increases by 83%. Teams that follow inclusive processes make decisions 2 times faster in half as many meetings. And companies with more diverse and inclusive teams have 22% lower turnover rates than those without. And I have yet to work with a program that did not want greater innovation, more efficiency, and a lower turnover rate. So what does a DIA look like in the strategic planning process? When a proposal is made, you can check it for diversity. You can ask who benefits and make sure you're being inclusive. You can ask who's being a burden and make sure it's equitable. And then if there are different needs, and just make sure that it's accessible. So how this might look, consider geographic location and financial status. For example, if you're deciding to include more continuing education requirements, you might ask yourself if that is going to be financially burdensome for certain candidates. Or if there's a certain exam that's only offered in Northern California, is that a barrier for candidates that live in Southern California? So those are just ways to incorporate DIA in the strategic planning process. So if you are in a new location, let's say you're at a business complex or a mall or maybe a school, and you need to get somewhere and you're standing in front of one of those directories with the maps, what is the first thing that you need to find on that map? Exactly, where you're at, because where you're at determines how you're going to get to where you're going. And so our strategic planning process always starts with a look at where you are currently. And that's going to be told by your mission statement, which explains why you exist, your values, which explain your core beliefs, and the environmental scan, which is a look at how your stakeholders feel you're doing. Where you're going, your destination is going to be told by your vision statement, your goals, which are your, in the strategic planning world, goals represent your day-to-day functions, such as licensing, enforcement, and your objectives, what you want to achieve in those goal areas. And lastly, how you get there is determined by your action plan. That's something that takes place after you have an approved strategic plan. Another way to look at it is that your strategic plan is building a house, and the foundation is your mission, vision, and values. Your goals, again, those are your day-to-day functions, represent the walls. Those aren't going to change very much, maybe now and then, but, and then you have your objectives, which are It could be your furnishings, paint color. Those might change every 2 to 5 years, and that's the typical lifespan of a strategic plan. And then I have mentioned the environmental scan a couple times, and that is just a study of how stakeholders perceive the board's performance and effectiveness when accomplishing its goals and its response to the profession and the world it operates in. So this is your current mission statement. I'll give you a moment to read it, and then the next slide is going to show what board leadership and managers suggested as an edit. So just a reminder, the DIA supplemental process, the purpose of it is to make the current strategic plan compliant with the executive order because your strategic plan was created before that order. So that's what we're doing today. And so I'll give you a moment to read it, and then the next slide will show what staff suggested as edits. All right, are you ready for the next screen? Okay. So now you can look at them side by side. All right, so part of making things more accessible is using fewer words. It can make something clearer. So how do people feel about the suggested mission statement? And again, the mission statement explains your purpose, why you exist. The suggested mission statement?
So, sorry.
Access to quality medical care.
Yeah, I mean, we can't promote access other than through our processes.
But that's what
That's-
we already say we do.
I understand that. That's
Okay.
why I say the suggestion I don't think is appropriate. It doesn't make
It
any
uses the
sense.
same words. Sorry, I guess I'm not understanding. It's just using fewer words. Our current mission statement says, and to promote access to quality medical. Oh, I see. You want it to have the.
I want to have the,
connectivity between our.
exactly.
Okay.
We can't promote access by hiring more doctors in the state. We can't promote access by educating more doctors in the state. We can't promote access in all the other ways that access is improved.
Hear you. Yeah.
We can only improve it through what we do.
I'll jump in here real quick. If I'm understanding correctly, it sounds like you want to take the through the board's licensing policy and regulatory functions from the original mission statement and put it into the suggested one. Is that
It
correct?
looks like we've over edited out. So in trying to get to brevity, it looks like what Dr. Thorpe is concerned about is that we've taken too many words out.
Exactly.
Okay.
Other suggestions, comments?
Yeah.
Last line here.
All right, so how do people like that, the suggestion now with the added verbiage?
Fine with me. I guess. It didn't change.
Other comments?
On my end, I agree with Dr. Thorpe. I feel comfortable with the original one that we have without any changes.
You do agree or you don't agree?
I agree with keeping it the same. I don't
whole
agree
thing.
with the new suggestion. I do not agree with the new suggestion.
You don't agree with the new suggestion?
No, I agree with the current one.
Okay. Other thoughts? I do think, I mean, I understand where Dr. Ayala Rodriguez and Dr. Thorpe are coming from. By taking those things out, I appreciate that we're trying to make it more succinct, but we've taken some important words out of it. So,
might I suggest, if you decide to keep the current one, one thing you can do is just get rid of this introductory part because it is your mission statement. It's going to be on your webpage, the medical board's webpage. So you really don't need the introductory sentence. The mission of the Medical Board of California is, it could just start with to protect.
any other thoughts?
I didn't understand what you said.
So I'm suggesting that the highlighted portion here, that the current mission statement begins with, the mission of the Medical Board of California is. That is unnecessary. If you look at most organizations' mission statements, it just would start to protect healthcare consumers and prevent harm through. Yeah, so I'm just, the introductory sentence isn't necessary. So
Yeah.
are we okay with getting rid of that?
We're good.
The
with
only
that.
thing is that we'd have to change, is that a big enough change to justify changing it on
On every
place
document,
where
yeah.
it's located?
Yeah, that's an editorial change. It doesn't change sort of
True.
right. So, I mean, if you're the editor, strike it out. If I'm the editor, I said, I like that, So obviously we want to change things that are meaningful, that achieves the goal. And so, we can put a comma here and comma there, or put a semicolon here. Substantive edits, I would be more amenable to saying, okay, let's do that. But if it's just striking out, 6 words to make it more succinct, I think there's a lot of things we have to change on all our flyers. Or, is it worth it?
Well, and we're doing a new strategic plan, or you will be doing a new strategic planning process starting in February, so you can do it again. We're doing this mid-cycle.
Well, you have an additional 2 years because of this, so it won't be.
I
till-
see.
Yes, till 2029. So
Well, but the conversation, I think I just announced, was going to be started in February about what our
We'll
next
give it an
strategic plan.
update.
I see. Okay. I think, based on what I'm hearing, we'd like to leave it exactly as it is and not make any changes.
all
Yeah.
right, so we will do that. Let me highlight it in green so I know to keep it as is. And you will see green highlights as we present the various things, and the green highlights will represent additions, or in this case, what was decided on. So next we have your values. Again, values represent your core beliefs, what work culture you want to have, how you want to treat consumers. And the only addition here, so the values are the same. The only addition is diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. How do people feel about that?
We have consensus there. We're good. Oh, don't. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
The question I have is, for the is this value statement for, I see 2 different populations. I see the organizational structure, the organization of the medical board, all of our staff and the employees, and I see that organizational structure, there's value in the diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. I have concerns about changing our standards of licensing and regulation based on this value. We don't license people based on, we license them based on standards, achieving certain goals, achieving certain test results, achieving certain documented quality metrics that they must meet. These are not variable based on what your any of these values. And so I think there's a difference between our licensees specifically and our company, our organization.
Well, I guess I have a little bit different perspective on that, Dr. Thorpe. And I'll use one of the examples I used yesterday when I was talking about some of the things we've accomplished over the years. We revised our licensing form to eliminate the mental health question that was really causing us some problems in our process. And also, we heard from the public and many commenters that it was stigmatizing mental illness and causing people to not potentially seek treatment. So that's a diversity, equity, and inclusion and accessibility change that was made to that form to make sure that we're capturing, that we're not doing anything in the process that would, I guess, negatively impact licensing, right? And so I do think this value applies broadly.
I agree.
So Dr. Thorpe, then Dr. Ayala Rodriguez, and others.
I looked at the picture that she gave us, about the difference between equality and equity.
I hear you. Yeah.
Some people standing alone, some people standing on different steps. That idea about licensing is a concern to me.
Okay. Dr. Ayala Rodriguez, then
Thank you.
Dr. Tolbert.
Thank you so much. Talking about licensing, for example, when we think about like the expedited licensing process as an example, we're taking into consideration medically underserved areas, populations of need. So the organization, the medical board, has to do something different to provide to underserved areas to ensure that they get the care that they need. That is not equal. That has to be adjusted because of critical areas of need. So I think that is an example of that in that particular case. I do agree with the individual qualifications of the physicians. That is a standard. That doesn't change, but the processes for critical areas of need cannot be the same.
Dr. Tolbert.
Well said.
All right. Ms. Holmes, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I just want to support that. The conversation yesterday, even about the licensing of the physicians from Mexico and stuff. So we are inherently doing some of this. So I think it fits.
All right. I'm seeing broad consensus that this fits. I appreciate your comment, Dr. Thorpe.
All right. In that case, we'll move on.
I did want to touch on one point of empathy. So I know we use the word empathy here, but empathy is really about how we respond to someone else's plight, someone else's situation. It's really kind of about us. Compassion is actually when we do in response to someone's to us feeling empathy for someone else. So I can be empathetic to someone, but if I have no compassion, that doesn't move me to act. So the empathy doesn't really help. So just putting that out there, empathy alone isn't helpful. It's the compassionate act that actually moves people to make a difference or a change.
Dr. Tolbert.
All right. So what do people think about replacing empathy with compassion? Or both? Yeah, you could add. All right. So people like compassion added then? I'm seeing nodding heads. And we have so you may have noticed the paddles. We are not having a silent auction. These are actually to indicate when you're ready to move forward. And the red means you would like to discuss something further. Or green means go, you agree, and red is like stop and want to talk about it more. So it sounds like people are in agreement that we're going to add the value compassion. Is that green? All right, so I will add it. All right, and typically we list the values alphabetically when we create your draft, but you can put them in any order you want if you want to emphasize one over the other. So next, we have your vision statement. So a vision statement is a statement of what would happen if you achieved your mission statement. It's a description of a perfect future. This is your current vision statement. And then on the next slide, we'll have the current vision statement and a suggested vision statement. All right, and we'll do the slide that has both of them side by side. And in this case, the vision statement has become longer. However, it's had DIA added to it.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to add, shouldn't it be to be the leading consumer protection agency?
Actually, no. So vision statements are meant to be written in future tense. It's already happened because it's a vision of what would happen if you achieved your mission statement. So it's supposed to be already accomplished.
Okay.
So that's why it's leading.
Dr. Mahmood, and then Ms. Holmes.
How would you, this culturally responsive in this medical board where we have to treat everything equal on that part, the work we do. So when you say culturally responsive, I don't know where we will do on that and how would we do on that? It's just an additional thing.
So I
The
think
more in a disciplinary body. Wow. Go ahead, Jason.
So I think in terms of culturally responsive, so one of the things when we talk about promoting different bills and things of that nature, that would lead to, for instance, looking at disparities within certain communities and saying, okay, this is something we really want to address through agreeing with and trying to help move forward bills that increase the number of, let's say, Latino physicians or in certain communities. So that's being, to me, that's sort of being culturally responsive to the needs of Californians.
Sorry.
I would say that's what we're doing. That's one of the things that we're doing, on this board.
And then how this board will do that, that's why I'm just concerned. This is not mandate in our board.
Ms. Holmes, did you have a comment?
I'm good now. Thanks.
Others?
I'm in agreement with Dr. Tolbert. I think that we're already doing it. It's just like recognizing it. But I think that this is reflective of what we're doing.
Okay.
Dr. Mahmood, I think as an example is, what we talked about yesterday with the bills and the suggestion on one bill that we change it into a study bill to find appropriate pathways to bring in additional licensees from, other countries.
Ms. Holmes?
The language is very important because we'll be held accountable to this. And so I understand the concerns that are being raised. And I kind of like the first one, but it's just my thought.
Others? People like, Ms. Holmes likes the original.
I can live with either.
I like the original, but I do like the added phrases of culturally responsible and accessible medical care for all Californians. But I like the way the original one starts. I feel like that's a stronger start. I don't know, just suggestion to make things more confusing.
Anyone else? How about this? Do we want to stay the same or do we want to change it? Let's do like a quick raise of hands so I can get a sense. They can get a sense? Stay the same.
I do like Ms. Torres' idea about to keep the same, but add that,
That wasn't an option yet, but yeah. Yeah. Do we like the new one, the suggested? Okay, we have consensus about the new one. Let's go with that.
All right, thank you. So we like to remind participants that at the end of the day, consumer protection is the mandate of the board. And when making suggestions, always consider available resources, so number of staff and time. And I say that because we've had some programs get carried away. Sometimes I had one board, or we had one board that had 69 objectives once with their strategic plan. So anyway, so we're going to move on to reviewing and improving staff edited objectives. And there are only 4 to consider. So the first area is licensing. We see the definition for licensing underneath it. Hopefully, before coming today, you had a chance to look at the environmental scan survey. You have in your handouts the same summary screen or slide. And then getting to licensing. So it's objective 1.4, and the suggested change is in green. And I'll let you take a look at that and then let us know what you think.
Thoughts on the addition of those 2 words? Okay. Thumbs up from everyone. Even Dr. Thorpe.
All right, great. And so now we're going to switch. We try to switch who's speaking so you don't get lulled into boredom. So my co-facilitator is going to speak for the next couple.
All right. You're gonna still present those slides though, right? Okay. All right, so we're going to move on to enforcement. And with the definition for enforcement, staff did have some suggestions on here. So we have the current one up top and the suggested one on the bottom here. Really, the only difference is just removing the when violations occur portion. Otherwise, it's basically the same. So how do we feel about that suggested one from staff? Looks good, maybe not. I saw a couple greens. That's fine.
We good?
All right, I'm seeing nodding heads as
All
well.
right,
All right, let me go ahead and highlight that green for Tricia.
quick question.
Madam
Oh,
Chair,
yes, sure.
I just had a question.
In the go to enforcement, is there any way we can have the idea about certain degree of transparency too?
Let's see if I do. Regulations.
Transparently educating.
Here.
Since we going to have that online tracking is part of transparency, so I'd like to see if we can somehow put it in.
Okay, so does by transparently educating licensees and consumers sound? I heard some no's. All right, let's see if we can find a different place to put transparent by effectively investigating complaints.
Probably transparency would be more like a value, no?
Right. That's a good suggestion.
And yeah, so I think that like I'm agreeing with the suggested, and I do agree with the transparency, but I think that would be more into the values of staff management, communication, and everything.
Trust. Do we instead want to add transparency as a value? You are getting a little lengthy on your values if we do add it.
Too many values.
Or we can remove one.
Dr. Yep, this was your suggestion.
I'm fine with that, but in the next page, explore alternative dispute process to identify new innovative ways to address complaints, maybe somewhere there too. But I'm fine.
So in the actual objective, okay, let's go back to the description though, but it sounds like the suggested one we're good with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and then we have the DEI supplement environmental scan summary page. Once again, you'll reference this while we'll look at the suggested edit that staff added. And so they made an edit to objective 2.3 where we added and accessible ways to address complaints. And it sounds like we may want to try to add transparency into this objective as well. Bless you.
I'm fine with that. I guess accessible kind of transparency too. It kind of, you can assess.
Yeah, it's kind of implied.
Thank you.
Thoughts? We okay with this? We're good with this.
Okay, seeing nodding heads, I'm seeing green. Perfect. And I believe that was the only one for enforcement. Moving on to the next goal area, we didn't have any changes to legislation and regulations, so we're going to move on to outreach. Here is the goal area description. Staff did not have any changes to this. So we'll move on to the objective that they did have suggestions for, which was goal objective 4.1. There was a suggestion to move the word stakeholder and instead replace it with interested parties. So we just took interested parties from the end and moved it up to the beginning. So this now reads, create and implement an interested parties meeting to structure to encourage two-way communication.
We good with this? Great.
Okay,
Moving
seeing
right
nodding
on.
heads. Perfect. All right, and that is enough with me talking. We'll go back to Trisha.
All right, so moving to our last goal area to take a look at. This one did have a slight change to that was added at the very end. So it's the same statement with just an addition at the very end. I'll give you a chance to read that and let us know what you think. All righty.
One green.
What, I don't, I guess my question is, that's the whole, I mean, what's the point of that statement that reflects the board values? That is what we're doing, is promoting organizational success through board governance, effective leadership, and responsible management. That is what we're doing. I guess what's the point of adding that reflects the board's values?
I
We
agree with you. I mean, I from a brevity standpoint, I actually agree with you here because isn't everything that we're doing supposed to be consistent with the board's
Exactly.
values? Like, isn't that understood? But so it's.
All right, so would people like that ending part that's been added just taken off?
It just seems superfluous.
Okay.
It just seems like it's.
I don't get it.
I would assume we're not going to do those things in a way that does not reflect the board's values.
Exactly. Let's hope, why would we be on the board?
All right, so what do people think about that?
That's the way it is now.
That's the way it is now,
I think
yeah.
that's fine.
Okay. All right, moving on. Okay, so here is the original objective, and then below, just a minor change, we add staff leadership added and accessibility. So originally, when the Department of Consumer Affairs implemented DEI, they did not have that accessibility. They have since added accessibility. So the change is only to add accessibility to make this compliant with what DCA now is promoting. So I'll give you a moment.
Dr. Sai is leading the way with a green. We're good.
All right. Wonderful. So look at this, we're already here on next steps. So our next step is we'll just draft an edited strategic plan, or we call it an amended strategic plan. It'll be sent to the executive officer to review and make any edits, and then you'll have the chance to approve it. And then next we can do action planning just for the objectives that were changed. Action planning is where we take a look at an objective and we break it down into tasks or steps that the board would need to take to accomplish that objective. We assign responsible parties, due dates, and establish performance measures. And again, 2 years are being added to your plan to accommodate these changed objectives. So the plan will be extended to 2029. Any questions? All right. Thank you so much for your participation today. We thank you. And with that, we're done.
Thank you, Ms. St. Clair and Ms. Irani. We really appreciate your time. Thanks for being here with us in person. That was very helpful. Thanks to all of you. We are going to move on to agenda item 11, but we public comment. We have to take public comment. We're not moving on. We're taking public comment. Back to public comment. Sorry about that. I'm losing my touch. It's my last meeting. Is there any public comment in the room?
Thank you. Hello, my name is Lucas Evanson, speaking on behalf of the California Medical Association. CMA appreciates the board's thoughtful discussion and work to incorporate diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility into its mission, vision, values, and strategic plan. We support the proposed changes and encourage the board to adopt them. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment in the room? Sean, let's open it up online.
Yes. If you'd like to make a public comment here on this agenda item, please do so by raising your hand or typing anything in that Q&A window I'm opening up right now.
Be fast, Carrie.
I'll give you a few minutes to see what shows up. First here we have Eric Andrist. Eric, you should be receiving that prompt.
I must say, that was an insulting, gross waste of the public's time. I mean, I know these meetings are for you guys, but that seems like something that you all could have done behind the scenes. And it's insulting because advocates and the public are always calling in. And this is how we know you don't listen to us. We're always calling in asking for agenda items that never appear on the agenda. And then you'll do something like this. You'll put this on the agenda and waste everybody's time when it could have been done behind the scenes. The staff could have put together suggestions that you all could have very easily and very quickly voted on, instead of all that back and forth banter with Christina lording over it, making final edict decisions on what's going to be changed and what's not, as if she owns the board, the medical board, as if she knows better than anybody else. And you don't even ask for public input as to what they think all this should be. This is all just you guys get to decide what the board represents. See, this is why you're all so egotistical and you never listen to the public. You never ask for our input and you just make these decisions and then pat yourselves on the back for it. Shame on you all. Just shame on you all. This should not have been an agenda item, especially when you refuse to put agenda items on that the public asks for. Shame on you all. Thank you.
At this time, I don't see any additional requests in queue.
Okay, we are bringing it back to the board. I think we need a roll call vote on all of the actions we just took. Is that correct? Or are we able to do that by consensus?
What's your preference? I think consensus is fine in this situation, but if you're okay with that?
Yeah, sorry, this is, typically in strategic planning, it's usually just consensus. They, board never, only votes on it to approve the plan.
Perfect.
Yep.
Then we now are moving on. Thank you again, Ms. St. Clair and Mr. Rani. We really appreciate your time. I think for my first time on the board in a decade, I have to recuse myself from the next matter, agenda item 11. So I'm going to turn the meeting over to Dr. Yip for agenda item 11. And then I will be back for item 12 when you come find me. Thanks, everyone.
Good morning, members. If we're ready, Dr. Yip. Agenda item 11 relates to a report from the Legislative Analyst's Office, or LAO, which is the legislature's nonpartisan policy and fiscal advisor. They provide research, advice, and recommendations to the legislature on a wide variety of topics. The LAO report that is subject of the discussion today relates to the challenges that the state of California has faced over the past few decades to provide appropriate health care in our prison system, specifically on mental health care. Due to litigation over the years, the courts have ordered various changes to California's prison system, including how health care is provided to this population. The report also provides an overview of the prison mental health care system, reviews some of the key court decisions and actions taken since the 1990s, and indicates that nearly 35,000 people in prison have a diagnosed mental health need. The report further discusses the need for adequate mental health staffing, reviews plans from the current receiver appointed by the court to oversee the delivery of mental health care, and provides various recommendations from the LAO to further address the need for mental health providers. With that foundation laid, I just want to draw the members' attention to one particular recommendation in this report, which suggests that the legislature, in fact, recommends that the legislature exempt out-of-state mental health providers from licensure requirements so that those who are licensed in their respective state no longer need a California license to work at the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. In the opinion of the board staff, licensure is a vital form of consumer protection and ensures that physicians practicing in California have met the relevant statutory requirements to treat patients in the state and do not have a history of criminal activity or adverse judgments or settlements that may constitute a pattern of negligence or incompetence. Without the requirement for licensure, the board would be unaware of those who are treating patients in the state and be unable to take disciplinary action against a physician who fails to treat their California patients within the standard of care. Accordingly, staff recommend that you direct the staff to send a letter to the LAO copying the governor's office and appropriate legislative committees indicating the board's opposition to physician licensure exemptions and expressing our willingness to meet and discuss the matter. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Aaron. Can you hear me? So I have the advantage of reading the LAO. It's very, very interesting. I'm sure Aaron can put a link and everyone interested in reading it. Actually, there's a crisis in the mental health care in the correction agency. As Aaron mentioned that 35,000 people in prison now have a diagnosis of mental health compared to 14,000 in 1997. So there's a big need of mental health worker. My understanding is because most of the need is outpatient, and therefore they were thinking maybe recruiting more psychiatrists, behavioral science, and marriage counseling across the state would help to unload those inpatient to the outpatient, and then outpatient would receive more care from those mental health worker. And the ratio of the mental health care now in the system is 1 psychiatrist per 1,200 patients. So what the concern here is that if we allow the healthcare provider, including psychiatry, behavioral science, and mental health worker from across the state without proper licensing here, we have no idea where they are, who they are, and how they practice. For example, they have a concern about the behavioral science. The requirement for those workers will be different. The requirement for license will be different. We may have a higher bar, we may have different bar, like credit in college and training program. So there's a big issue that the board need to consider. So I'm open to the board to ask question and discussion. Thank you. Ms. Colbert?
So I would be concerned about the sort of exemption. You know, we just talked about DEIA. So, and, you know, not vetting clinicians, however you want to define that, to work with this population and making sure that they're receiving the same type of high quality healthcare that all of our other citizens do, and using the mental health crisis and not looking at how do we solve that crisis or promote solving of that crisis, I don't think is appropriate. So something to consider. I would be much more in favor of looking at an expedited pathway where it pertains to us. And you know, from again, if you want to go from a DI perspective, looking at, okay, could we create a process that would help streamline that the mental health workers or physicians or psychiatrists or who are to get licensed quickly for those who want to practice in that space, and promoting that would be the more appropriate way to go.
Thank you. Dr. Mahmood?
Yeah, there is no doubt this is a very, I would say, boiling issue, and we do. But I think we need to go a little bit further. Not only the mental health care for them while they are incarcerated or in the jail, for a follow-up too, because many of them might fall back in and bring more people with them. If we don't actually address that, how they are going to be doing after they're done with the thing in the jail, we're not going to be able to, just like in a homelessness issue, we bring 5 people in, 10 more people are out there. So we need to have some kind of solution where we have people at high risk going into jail before, and much more importantly, people who leave the jail or leave the prison or leave wherever they're incarcerated, to follow up on that and have a track record. We can put 6 months, a year, or 2 year, whatever the most valuable time with the expert's opinion.
Thank you. Any other comment? Any suggestion to agree with Mr. Bones? Ms. Holmes?
Thank you. I agree with Dr. Tolbert. I think this is a very complicated matter. There's there's many things going on. And it's not just mental health. But I don't think there's a one size fits all to fix this by just expediting licensing. And I think it creates a slippery slope for us. So, or, to just not. I think expediting licensing, finding a pathway actually is the right way to go versus just opening up the door. And how would we process all of that? It would just be a free for all and everybody would be able to apply and get a job. How would that actually work? Do you know?
I don't think, good question, Ms. Holmes. I don't think it's detailed in the recommendations, but I believe there's a suggestion in there that the department would manage oversight and those kinds of,
Our,
those kinds.
your department or
The Department of
somebody-
Consumer, excuse me, the Department of Corrections and
The corrections
Rehabilitation,
would
who
do
would be
it?
the potential employers
Uh-huh,
would be, or would be contracting out for services
uh-huh.
with, could be physicians, it could be the other types of professionals that Dr. Yip mentioned.
Yeah.
But that, in essence, I think the LAO is suggesting that the benefit outweighs the risk of eliminating the licensure requirement. And that way, then the care, the quality of care could be managed internally by CDCR. I believe that's at least the implication from the report. But further to your other, as opposed to the board having its licensing and disciplinary functions.
Wow. Yeah.
I think that's
I
the
don't like that.
implication. Well, it's a departure from
Yeah.
how,
Well, then that's my point. It's a slippery slope. I mean, like if we do this for this, then what happens going forward? And then how do we keep our ground and figure out how to have standards? So
Yeah.
maybe we could have a conversation with them again and just say, we really appreciate what you're trying to do. We understand the issues and we want to be helpful. And could we explore other pathways?
and there are many other options there are additional recommendations in the report around working conditions, around compensation, around outreach, recruitment, all the other sorts of things. When you think about, okay, if I want to work in a certain place, there's a variety of factors that you go into your consideration when you're personally selecting an employer. So they're exploring and trying to provide additional recommendations to the legislature on additional facets beyond simply licensure. It's a lengthy report.
Okay. And the thing what I'm hearing though is that, yes, and if we could be helpful in expediting something, I mean, I think that's the problem, is that the problem has gotten so big to hear that there's one psychiatrist for 1,000 people or whatever it is. I mean, oh my goodness, how are you ever going to get, help? So I think our role in this process is to help find a pathway that expedites something, but that doesn't just create a free-for-all. Make sense? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Sai?
I think also, with our presentation on the interstate compact yesterday, that would be something to mention, because I think we're dealing with all these Band-Aid solutions for the rare diseases, the prison inmates. And I think, by mentioning that to them as another possible solution, that we're actively working on this.
Great.
Ms. Torres?
I already had some concerns about this because it takes away an important enforcement mechanism, especially when you're treating a very disenfranchised and disadvantaged community already. And then what I'm hearing that, possibly in the details would be to move that enforcement mechanism to CDCR. That just tripled down on my concerns, especially as somebody who, as a former prosecutor, had a lot of interaction with CDCR, and recognizes the limitations that they have. So I would agree with everyone who's spoken already about the concerns we would have with this. I think it comes from a good place. Obviously, this is a very important unaddressed need, but I think that there are much better ways of addressing it while keeping the enforcement, keeping this under the enforcement umbrella of the board.
Mr. Chair, I move staff recommendation.
Any second? So I think should we get the public comment line, please?
I think we may have some in the room here as well, Doctor.
Sean, anyone waiting online?
Do you want to start in the room
Yeah,
first,
we can
Doctor?
start in the room first.
Hello, my name is Lucas Evanson, speaking on behalf of the California Medical Association. CMA appreciates the staff's thoughtful analysis and supports the recommendation to oppose the LAO's proposal to exempt out-of-state physicians from California licensure requirements when working for the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Physician licensure is fundamental to patient protection by ensuring physicians treating patients in California have met the state standards for education and training. While CMA recognizes the serious workforce challenges facing CDCR, those challenges should not be addressed by weakening longstanding patient protections that safeguard patient safety and maintain accountability for the practice of medicine in California. Physicians providing care to incarcerated patients should meet the same standards as physicians providing care to the general population. CMA requests that the board adopt the staff recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, members. George Osborne, representing the Union of American Physicians and Dentists. We're looking at this LAO report. It's comprehensive. We worked with LAO in development of the report. We've worked with the legislature and the governor's office and CDCR, Department of State Hospitals, for years on staffing issues. It's tough to find psychiatrists who want to work in prisons. We understand that. We've, again, been working with that and trying to find mutual solutions to this problem for years and years. But one of the solutions is not to allow unlicensed doctors in California. If they want to practice medicine in California, there are standards they have to meet, processes they have to fulfill to become licensed, and they can become licensed in California and subject themselves to the regulation and oversight that the board presents. A doctor in Mississippi who was not licensed in California may or may not be up to the standards of California. And if he makes a mistake, who in the world is going to find out about it, number one, and who's going to have jurisdiction over sanctions on this particular doctor? It's a bad idea. We support a lot of the recommendations that LAO has come up with. This is one we do not support. We do support the staff recommendation, and I'll leave it at that. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'll take my seat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comment from the hearing room? No? Anyone online, WebEx?
Yes, if you'd like to make a public comment, please do so by raising your hand or typing anything into that Q&A window. Give you a few seconds to see if anyone queues up. Not seeing any requests at this time.
That's it.
Really? I'm surprised.
Dr. Ayla Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Chung,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Dr. Mahmood,
Yes.
Dr. Solis,
Yes.
Dr. Tarb,
Yes.
Dr. Tolbert,
Yes.
Ms. Torres,
Yes.
Desai,
Yes.
Mr. Watkins, Dr. Yep. Thank you.
It's actually a very good report. So if you like reading New York Times and weekend, it's a good piece to read. Thank you.
Staff is getting Miss Lawson.
We are moving on to agenda item 12. Update from the Physician Assistant Board. Dr. Sai.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Thank you. I was so happy to start my presentation. Now the mic is on. The PA Board of California held its meeting, quarterly meeting on May 18th, 2026. Several items of note for the medical board are that there's currently 2 vacant public board member positions. And so the PA board is actively recruiting and notifying the public of the possibility to serve on the PA board. Currently, in terms of license, there are 20,000 active PAs in California, and their processing times for a completed application is averaging 31 days. Year to date, 513 complaints have been received and 88 have been referred for investigation. As a comparison, their average age of investigation is 247 days. Average age of pending cases is 232. There are currently 37 licenses on probation and 5 licensees on diversion. One of the interesting things that was presented for approval was the change in legislation. Physician assistants who have retired from practice and decides to go back into practice needs to be recertified by the licensing exam and proof of CMEs. However, if you retire over 5 years and want to come back, you have to go through the entire application process again. And this was voted on and supported by the PA board. Our next meeting is in August in San Diego. And after that meeting, I will have that meeting summary at our next meeting. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Sai. Are there any questions or comments from members? Are there any comments from the public present in the hearing room? We check on WebEx, please, Sean.
Yes, if anyone would like to make a public comment here on agenda item 12, please do so by raising your hand or typing anything into that Q&A window. Give you a few seconds to see if anyone queues up. Not seeing any requests at this time.
Thanks, Sean. We'll bring that back to the board. And then we will move on to agenda item 13, discussion and possible action on recommendations from the Special Faculty Permit Review Committee. And Dr. Ayala Rodriguez, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lawson. Today I will be presenting 2 recommendations from the Special Faculty Review Committee. Following my presentation, I will make a motion to approve the appointment recommendations from the committee. The first recommendation relates to Dr. Mohammed Soleimani. The committee reviewed and evaluated Dr. Soleimani's application for a special faculty appointment at the University of Southern California Keck School of Medicine, USC. Please turn to agenda number item 13 in your meeting packet for a detailed report on Dr. Soleimani's qualifications. Dr. Soleimani earned his medical degree in 2005 from Tehran University School of Medicine, where he also completed his ophthalmology residency in 2009 and a cornea fellowship in 2012. He later relocated to the United States, where he completed a research fellowship in ocular surface disease at the University of Illinois, Chicago from 2022 to 2023, followed by a clinical fellowship in ocular regenerative medicine and ocular surface disease, which he completed in 2024. With over 12 years of expertise across the full spectrum of cornea and external eye diseases, Dr. Soleimani is recognized as a world-class surgeon scientist with a particular focus on ocular surface disorders, stem cell therapy, artificial intelligence, and infectious keratitis. He has held the major leadership roles, including medical director of Farabi Eye Hospital, cornea fellowship director, and vice chair of quality at the University of North Carolina, as well as key educational and research leadership positions. During a decade as faculty at Farabi Eye Hospital, he trained and mentored hundreds of students, residents, and fellows. He has authored more than 84 peer-reviewed publications and textbook chapters, secured significant funding, received numerous awards, and presented widely at national and international conferences. USC recruited Dr. Soleimani for the position of Professor of Clinical Ophthalmology in the Department of Ophthalmology and Surgery. Pending board approval of a special faculty permit, he will serve as a full-time faculty member, lead efforts to strengthen the cornea service, help establish a center of excellence in cornea and external eye diseases, support USC's vision research goals, particularly maintaining its top national NIH funding ranking, and play a major role in training students, trainees, and future leaders in ophthalmology and vision science. In addition, if the board approves, Dr. Soleimani will serve as Chief of the Cornea, External Diseases, and Retractive Surgery Service, providing a strategic oversight of daily clinical operations, managing and mentoring cornea faculty, supporting their academic development, ensuring exemplary patient care, fostering education and research activities, and serving as a liaison with hospital administration to promote efficient clinical operations. The committee recommends that the board approve Dr. Soleimani application for a special faculty permit and his appointment as Chief of the Cornea, External Diseases, and Refractive Surgery Service. The second recommendation pertains to Dr. Marcelo Rodriguez. The committee reviewed and evaluated Dr. Rodriguez's application for a special faculty appointment with the University of California, San Diego School of Medicine, UCSD. A detailed report on Dr. Rodriguez's qualification is included in the materials for agenda item 13. Dr. Rodriguez is an internationally recognized musculoskeletal radiologist with over 20 years of clinical, academic, and research experience. He earned his medical degree from the University of Sao Paulo Faculty of Medicine in 1996. He completed his internship, diagnostic radiology residency, and musculoskeletal radiology fellowship at its affiliated clinic hospital. He earned a PhD in radiology in 2016 with doctoral research focus on the accuracy of MRI in diagnosing traumatic brachial plexus injuries. And his background includes international research fellowships in Brussels and New York. He also has held senior leadership positions at major Brazilian academic and clinical institutions. Dr. Rodriguez currently serves as the Chief of Radiology at Aspetar Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Hospital, a leading global center for sports medicine and orthopedic care. He's highly specialized in musculoskeletal imaging, including MRI, ultrasound, CT, and radiography, with expertise in sports injuries, joint disorders, peripheral nerve pathology, and image-guided interventions. He has developed advanced imaging protocols, led multidisciplinary teams, and supported complex orthopedic and sports medicine programs. His scholarly contributions include numerous peer-reviewed publications, editorial roles, leadership in postgraduate training education, and an extensive experience mentoring medical trainees and fellows. UCSD has recruited Dr. Rodriguez for a full-time health sciences clinical professor position in the Department of Radiology, focus on musculoskeletal imaging, and if approved, he will provide clinical care by interpreting musculoskeletal radiographs, CTs, MRIs, and ultrasound studies performed at UCSD. Dr. Rodriguez also will support the department's academic mission through teaching trainees, participating in multidisciplinary conferences, and engaging in collaborative research and scholarly activities aligned with his expertise. The committee recommends that the board approve Dr. Bordelo Rodriguez's application for a special faculty permit, and that would conclude my report on the committee's recommendations.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ayala Rodriguez. Are there any questions or comments from board members? We have Dr. Yip.
Thank you for the report, Doctor. One question for the first applicant. Is just curious, the fellowship was 2023, 2024. To me, fellowship useful for someone who need more training. This is a well-established clinical science and physician. I just wonder what fellowship is about.
Thank you so much for that question. So I think that there's a training that happens, but also like the scholarly activity and the leadership skills and positions that people have. Like Dr. Soleimani has like a very strong like background, like already in his career, like in scholarly activity. He has like published like over 80 activities, and he already has been working on leadership roles with the other university as well. So right now, USC is like has interviewed him, has talked to him, has reviewed the performance and everything, and has identified that he's already surpassing applicants based on the skills and experience that he has provided. So he seems like a very prominent and someone that potentially is going to be bringing like a lot of healthcare innovation into California.
Thank you. I move to accept the recommendation for both physicians.
Great, thank you both. Are there any comments from those present in the hearing room? Are there any public comments on WebEx, Sean?
Yes, if you'd like to make a public comment here on agenda item 13, please do so by raising your hand or type anything in that Q&A window. Give you a few seconds to see if anyone queues up. Not seeing any requests at this time.
Okay, we will bring it back to the board. If there are no further comments or questions, we'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Dr. Ayala Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Chung,
Yes.
Ms. Holmes,
Yes.
Dr. Mahmood,
Yes.
Dr. Solis,
Yes.
Dr. Tar,
Yes.
Dr. Tolbert,
Yes.
Ms. Torres,
Yes.
Dr. Sai,
Yes.
Dr. Watkins, Mr. Watkins, Dr. Yep,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right, that motion carries. Moving on to agenda item 14, discussion and possible action related to the Midwifery Advisory Council, including a report from the last MAC meeting, a request to extend the terms of 2 MAC members, and approval of agenda items for the next MAC meeting. Ms. Weisner, are you with us?
I am with you. Hello,
Great.
everyone.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Madeline Meisner. I'm the chair of the Midwifery Advisory Council, also known as the MAC. The MAC did not receive any applications prior to our most recent meeting on April 16th. MAC, the meeting to fill the 3 positions that would become vacant on June 30th, 2026. The MAC is requesting a motion to extend the terms of 2 current members, myself and Mason Wilson Tanev, until new members are appointed to fill the vacancies. The MAC also requests a motion to approve the following agenda items for its next meeting on September 17th, 2026. Approval of the minutes from the April 16th, 2026 MAC meeting, report from the MAC chair, update on midwifery-related legislation, if applicable, update on the midwifery program and the licensed midwife annual report, vote on 2027 MAC meeting dates, selection of 3 new MAC members, 2 licensed midwives and 1 licensed physician, and a presentation on the board's enforcement process. May I please have a motion to approve the extension of 2 MAC members and the requested agenda items?
Do you want to make a motion, please?
The motion.
Dr. Ayala Rodriguez moves.
Second.
With second from Dr. Sai. Thank you very much, Ms. Weisner. Are there any comments from the public here in the hearing room?
I'm sorry, I was not done. That was just.
Oh, you're
step
not done. Okay.
Sorry. I would also like the board to consider establishing a standing agenda item for presentations regarding licensed midwives. In
Ms.
addition.
Weisner?
Yes.
Let's get public comments on this motion and
This
then.
motion? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then you can. She's done. Okay.
Okay, we're going to take public comments. Are there any public comments in the hearing room? How about online, Sean?
If anyone would like to make a public comment on this motion, please do so by raising your hand or type something in that Q&A window. Give you a few seconds. Not seeing any requests at this time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll bring it back to the board. Let's have a roll call vote on that motion to approve the request from the MAC.
Dr. Ayala Rodriguez.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
What's your question?
I do have a question. I'm not sure now or later. Do our staff ever attend those meetings? Are those meetings in person or Zoom?
They're via WebEx.
And our staff attend those meetings too?
Yes.
From which division? Like enforcement?
Executive staff and licensing.
Thank you.
Okay, let's vote on the request made.
Dr. Ayala Rodriguez. Ms. Chung.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Dr. Mahmood.
Yes.
Dr. Solis.
Yes. Yes.
Dr. Thorpe.
Yes.
Dr. Tolbert.
Yes.
Ms. Torres.
Yes.
Dr. Sai.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
Dr. Yep.
Yes.
Ms. Lawson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, that motion passes. Ms. Weisner, what was your supplemental request?
Thank you. I wanted to request that the board consider establishing a standing agenda item for presentations regarding licensed midwives. This would be in addition to the existing MAC agenda item. So specifically set aside time for licensed midwife related practice issues.
Great. Thank you for that request. That sounds to me like a request for a future agenda item. That's something that I guess we have an item for future agenda items later on our agenda. But I think that the board, executive staff, and leadership will take that recommendation for a standing agenda item under advisement.
Great. Thank you.
Out of clarification, it's presentation during the MAC council meeting, right? Or is it?
During our meetings.
During the medical board meeting. So
Okay.
a time spent specifically on a I'm requesting that there's a standing agenda item for licensed midwives at the medical board meetings.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. We are going to move on to agenda item 15, discussion and possible action to designate the decision in the matter of the petition for reinstatement of John Edward Massey as a precedential decision. Ms. Webb.
Thank you, members. As background, John Massey's physician and surgeon certificate was revoked effective August 5th, 2019, based in part on a finding of sexual misconduct with a patient under Business and Professions Code Section 726. Assembly Bill 1636 amended Business and Professions Code Section 2307, effective January 1st, 2023, to prohibit reinstatement of individuals whose licenses were revoked due to sexual misconduct with a patient. Because Massey filed his petition in November 2023, after that change to the law, the amended statute applies and bars his reinstatement. Massey argued that applying the amended statute to his petition amounted to an impermissible retroactive application of the law since his revocation occurred before AB 1636 took effect. The administrative law judge, however, determined that applying the amended statute is prospective, not retroactive, because it governs reinstatement proceedings going forward and does not alter the consequences of Massey's past conduct. As his license had already been revoked, he no longer had a protected property interest in it. The ALJ therefore issued a proposed decision dismissing the petition for lack of jurisdiction, and that proposed decision was adopted by the board. Massey filed a writ, but ultimately dismissed it, and this decision is now final. Because the statutory interpretation, specifically the application of Business and Professions Code Section 2307, subdivision I, is likely to arise in future petitions filed by individuals whose licenses were revoked for sexual misconduct prior to AB 1636's effective date, staff believe that designating the relevant portions of this decision as precedential will provide clear guidance to petitioners, administrative law judges, and the Office of the Attorney General. It will conserve board and staff resources by reducing repetitive litigation on recurring issues and promote consistency in the board's decision-making. Staff therefore recommend designating the issue, the findings of fact 1 through 13, and legal conclusions 1 through 8 and 10 through 17 as precedential. If approved, these sections will be published in a precedential decision with legal conclusion 9 redacted because it is not useful for precedential purposes. The unredacted version will remain available on Massey's profile. At this time, staff respectfully request that the board move to approve the designation of the recommended portions of this decision as precedential. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Webb. Are there any questions or comments from board members? All right, may I have a motion to approve staff's recommendation? Thank you, Dr. Thorpe. Thanks for the second from Dr. Mahmood. Let's go to comments. Are there any comments in the hearing room?
Hello, my name is Lucas Evanson, speaking on behalf of the California Medical Association. As the sponsor of AB 1636, CMA agrees that the staff's recommended board position on this issue aligns with the intent of the legislation and would promote clarity and consistency and conserve board resources. CMA appreciates the staff's thoughtful analysis and urges the board to adopt the staff recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from those in the hearing room? All right, Sean, if you could open it up online.
Yes, if anyone like to make a public comment on agenda item 15, please do so by raising your hand or typing something in that Q&A window now. Give you a few seconds to see if anyone queues up. Not seeing any requests at this time.
Okay, thanks. We will bring it back to the board. If there are no further comments, let's do the roll call vote.
Dr. Ayala Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Chung?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes? Dr. Mahmood? Dr. Solis?
Yes.
Dr. Thorpe?
Yes.
Dr. Talbot?
Yes.
Ms. Torres?
Yes.
Dr. Sai?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Dr. Yep?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Right, that motion carries as well. Thank you. We're going to move on to agenda item 16, which is officer elections. We will take nominations. You either can propose a slate, so for president, vice president, and board secretary, or you can propose one office at a time. And just a possible suggestion, if you want to incorporate it into the motion, is that the new terms take effect as soon as I'm termed off the board, so that we can continue the work on AB 408 until that time. So my term ends technically on June 1st, but there's a 60-day grace period for appointment. So the new terms will take effect, again, if that's the pleasure of the board, once the existing term expires. Dr. Thorpe, it looks like you were raising your hand.
Well, I would make this proposal to the board as a slate. I would recommend Dr. Yip as president, Dr. Sai as vice president, and Ms. Torres as secretary. And that this would take effect at the end of your term.
Thank you. Other nominations? Would anyone like to second that?
I second.
Should I check and make sure you all accepted those nominations? Dr. Yip?
It'd be a great honor, and I'm ready.
Great.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Sai?
Oh, I thank you for the trust in me to assist Dr. Yip. I've been on the board for the last 4 years now. I think I got the hang of it, and so I'd be happy and willing and privileged and honored to serve in that position.
And Ms. Torres?
I would be honored. Thank you for your trust.
Thank you. Okay, we will open this up for public comment. Did I get a second on that? I can't remember.
You did.
Yes, okay. Let's open it up for public comment. Any public comment from those in the room? All right, how about online?
If anyone would like to make a public comment here on agenda item 16, please do so by raising your hand or type anything in that Q&A window. First here we have Eric Andrist. Eric, you should be receiving that prompt.
This is kind of a tricky thing to talk about. While I think Dr. Yip is a fine person to be president, and of late he has really stepped up and worked toward patient advocacy and patient safety, I personally have a hard time understanding him a lot of the time. And moving forward, I think a lot of people who might come to the meetings might also have a problem with his accent. And I would have to request, if he is going to be the president of the board, that there be some sort of an ongoing ADA accommodation to translate what he says, because I'm serious. Oftentimes I can't understand what he's saying. And I think that's a problem for transparency and moving forward with these meetings, because if the public can't understand him, it's going to hinder how we participate in the meeting. So if he makes president, and I'm fine with him being president, that's going to have to be an ongoing ADA request that there is a translation. And I realize WebEx sort of translates as we go here online, but it's also delayed, and I don't think in person it's shown anywhere. So you're going to have to consider, if he's the president, that there's going to have to be some kind of a translation service moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your public comment. Next here we have Michelle Montserrat Ramos. Should be receiving that prompt.
Good morning. I'm Michelle Montserrat Ramos, and I'm with Consumer Watchdog. We'd like to congratulate, well, I guess we're a little soon, but we are welcome the suggestion of Dr. Yip as our future president of the board. Dr. Yip has always made an effort and to work with the public, listen to us, and has collaborated with us in the past. And we look forward to working with him in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for your public comment. At this time, there are no additional requests in queue.
Okay, let's bring it back to the board. And Ms. Nadar, if you could please perform the roll call vote.
Dr. Ayala Rodriguez? Chang?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Dr. Mahmood?
Yes.
Dr. Solis?
Yes.
Dr. Thorpe?
Yes.
Dr. Tolbert?
Yes.
Ms. Torres?
Yes.
Dr. Sai?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins? Dr. Yep?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson?
Yes, that motion passes. Congratulations, Dr. Yip, Dr. Sai, and Ms. Torres.
Thank you again. As a matter of fact, I've been looking for a speaking coach.
We will move on to agenda item 17, future agenda items. Do any members have suggestions for future agenda items? Dr. Yip. Okay.
I suggest for the next year calendar, we have at least one meeting that would link to Saturday to accommodate the public.
Thank you. Mr. Watkins?
Yeah, I would like the Attorney General to give us a briefing on a very specific case that is showing up in the panels right now. And that is doctors who are practicing outside of the state and have discipline in California, leave the state, and then go practice outside of the state, no incidents, and then they come back like 6 years later, and they just want to have their license back. And so by doing that, they're subverting the whole point of licensing in California, because they haven't been accountable to the public in California. They just left, went to go practice somewhere else. Enough time has elapsed, and now they come back. And it's kind of a loophole in the system right now. And we've seen already 2 cases like that. And I think it's going to become more prevalent.
Thank you. Dr. Tolbert, then Dr. Thorpe.
So we talked a lot about access and to care. So I would like to see us lean into that space a little bit more and have a presentation around what the board can do to help improve the access to care for all Californians, especially those who are in much more at-risk parts of our state.
Thank you. Dr. Thorpe.
I would just like to see a continued agenda item on artificial intelligence. I think it needs to be we need to be consistently brought up to speed on AI.
Thank you. Other future agenda items, Dr. Ayala Rodriguez.
Just to echo Dr. Thorpe's comment about AI, and I would like request that in those future agenda items, like to be as informed and as prepared as we can, if possible with a recommendation, because I believe that there's a lot of resources on the board and a lot of like partnerships with other organizations to try to be as informed as possible, to try to come up with recommendations. So as we discuss it, like we already know that everything has been seen, everything has been discussed, everything has been reviewed, and specifically as we review analysis, legal analysis, and things like that, so we can be a little bit more prepared.
Thank you. Ms. Holmes.
Yes, thank you. Building on that, I might even suggest that staff kind of create buckets of categories of things like practice management. I've been reading a lot about diversity and inclusion through AI, and it's not that sensitive to diverse populations. That's a whole topic area that I'd be very interested in hearing more about. The futurists, all of it. So I really concur with that. The other one I wanted to mention was, and we picked it up last time and it didn't show up here, and I know I'm on a task force now, so I might be putting a hole for myself. And I have no content yet about this, but maternal mortality, it's a carryover from the last meeting, and I think that we should figure out how to agendize that.
Thank you. Ms. Torres.
I'd like to broaden the conversation we started about mental health resources and health resources in general for the CDCA population in the California prisons. I thought that was a beginning of a very good conversation. CDCR, sorry. That was a beginning of a very good conversation, and we had some great ideas tossed around. So I think that deserves kind of further conversation and thought.
Thank you. Any additional future agenda items from board members? Dr. Tsai?
I'd like to echo the MAC Midwifery Advisory Council's request for an agenda item for a presentation. I think licensed midwife can increase access to healthcare in California, and I think that's a valuable avenue. So I would like a presentation on that.
Thank you. Any other additional agenda items from the board? Okay, let's open it up for public comment. Is there any public comment in the hearing room? All right, seeing none, how about online, Sean?
Yes, if anyone would like to make a public comment for a future agenda item, please do so by raising your hand or typing anything in that Q&A window. Give me a few seconds to queue up. Start here with Eric Andrist. Eric, you should be receiving that prompt.
So I have two requests. The first one, I guess, is probably not really an agenda item, but since Dr. Yip is going to be the president per ADA Title II and Government Code Section 11135, I would like to request an ongoing accommodation for a translation service for all meetings that he is in charge of. And secondly, let me scroll up here. Hang on, my computer just froze. I'd like to ask for, we used to have public comment at the beginning of the second day meetings, and under Christina's term, I believe she got rid of that. And here we go, we're scrolling up. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys, it's my computer's acting up. I would like to ask that that be reinstated because people who attend on the second day, okay, here it is. Under the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act, Government Code Section 11125.7, this board is required to provide members of the public an opportunity to directly address the board. When the board schedules meetings across 2 days, members of the public who can only attend on day 2 are currently denied any opportunity for public comment on non-agenda items, a right the law protects. The board previously provided this opportunity and removed it, I would argue improperly. I respectfully request that this be placed on a future agenda for discussion and restoration. Thank you.
Thank you for your public comment. Next here we have Michelle Montserrat Ramos.
I'm Michelle Montserrat Ramos, and I'm with Consumer Watchdog. We agree with Dr. Yip on a future agenda item on potential Saturday meetings, and also agree with Ms. Holmes. We're requesting an update on the maternal mortality task force be placed on the next meeting agenda, and finally requesting a discussion on bringing the enforcement committee to meet during the quarterly board meeting. Thank you.
At this time, I don't see any additional requests in queue.
Thanks, Sean. All right, we'll bring it back to the board. If there are no additional future agenda items, our next agenda item is adjournment. So thank you all for participating in the May Medical Board meeting. It has been a privilege to be your colleague. Have fun at your next board meeting on August 20th and 21st of this year. And there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.